Welcome back, everyone. So in this video we are going to be focusing on our creating a blog page. That way we can make the input and then we can use Axios to connect to our post. That way we can start making post requests. Okay, so let's get to that. So we're just going to create a blog and we're just going to set up the page here. That way it looks a little bit much better with our input fields. So once we are in create a blog, what I normally do is just make a div, and then inside of the div you want to make a form, just like that. And then the form is where you are going to input your labels and your input fields and your button. That way you can make an event handler and pretty much use it to submit your post request. Okay, so what I like to do, of course, make your comment, and then we are going to, and remember, it's going to be our form, or creating a blog is going to have three things. It's going to have, well, four things. It's going to have, I don't have it here. Let's just go back to the, sorry everyone, blog schema here. So it's going to have three values: title, preview, and post. And then we are also going to include the button. That way we can click on the button and it'll pretty much post to our DB, our database. Okay, so let's go back here. Okay, create a blog. So the first one is going to be our title. So we can say title input, just like this. Okay, and then we can use our label, and then we can call this title, just like that. Okay, and then underneath it you can make an input as well. And then input, we are going to add some styles to it. So the class name, and then we want the width to be, actually let's start with the border. That way you can take a look here. So right now we have a default border, and let's just make the border a little darker. That way we can see it, and let's just make it black. Okay, perfect. So you can see it's black, the border's black. Awesome. So what we can do is we are just going to make the width, let's say about 400 pixels here, and then the height, let's say we'll make it 40 pixels. Let's see, I think that's too much, maybe 30 pixels. Okay, I think 30 pixels should be good. Yeah, let's leave it 30 pixels. Okay, and then if you wanted to, the border, what you can do as well is you can just round the borders. That way it doesn't just look boxy. So we're just going to do rounded, and then not full, XL. Okay, and perfect. You have it here, and then as you can see, once you type, you don't want it to be too close to the border. So you can just type in padding, give it a little padding, and it should just move it a little bit, just like that. All right, perfect. Look at that, guys. Okay, so once we have that, okay, and if you want that as well, you can just give it a little bit of some background color. That way it doesn't just look too plain. And then we want to, let's try that zinc color, BG zinc, I think it was, and I think it was 600. That's too dark. Okay, let's try 300. Okay, perfect. So we'll just leave it like that then. Okay, and now we want everything that we want it to be in the middle. So just don't forget to use that for your div, so that everything that you input is going to be in the middle. So you can just add text center back in your div. Okay, and just like that. Okay, and then let's just add a padding. That way it's a little brought down. You can write P4, and perfect, just like that. Okay, so we can go on to the next line, and then our next line is going to be our preview. So what you can do is you can once again type it in manually, or you can just copy and paste it. But if you don't have much experience with CSS, I definitely recommend to type it in, just because that way you can build up that muscle memory as well. Okay, so instead of title, we're going to make it preview. That way we can make our preview button here, and then you just want to add just some spacing, so we'll just make a break here, 2 breaks. Perfect. Okay. And then this we are just going to add another break here because I tend to not like how this looks. It's not even, and let's just make this even as well. I'm not a big fan of using breaks, but in this case we can use it. Okay, perfect. So as you can see, it has the same thing here. Okay, awesome. And let's just make this text white. That way it doesn't text white. Okay, that way it's not even. Sorry guys. Yeah, we can just leave it. We can leave it black here. It looks much better. Okay, perfect. So the next thing that we want to do here is, let's just bring this back up. Okay, next thing is we're going to be focusing on our text area. So we're going to make the comment, and we're going to say our post input. Okay. So of course we're going to say label, and then post. Okay, and let's just bring in some. We can just have it separated here. Perfect. Okay, and then now we can just type in, make our text area box. So it's going to be text, an area, and then just close it, and then you should see it come up here. Okay, so actually it's not that, it's a self-enclosing. Okay, just like that. So now what we're going to do is we are just going to do the same as we did here. So let's just class, and we'll make a border, that way you can see it. Okay, and the cool thing about this text area box, and let me just add the color, that way you can definitely see it much better. Black. Okay. And the cool thing is that you'll be able to do this, like adjust the size as well, which is so dope. I really like that feature. So what we're gonna do is we want to make the border, I believe it was 600 pixels wide. Let's see. Okay, and then let's see, what was it? Okay, so we can just make this the height, let's say 400 pixels as well. Okay, I think that should be good. Let's just check 700 pixels for the width. Okay, I think that's good. Let's stick with 600 or 650. Yeah. Okay, perfect. 650 is perfect. Okay, and then we just want to stay consistent with the borders. So let's make the borders. Border we have, it's we want it rounded, and then XL. Okay, and perfect. So as you have that here, and then at the same time we want to add the background, so we can just copy and paste this here to be that color. Okay, perfect. Awesome. And don't forget about the padding, because you also really don't want to have that there. So we want to add the padding, and perfect. Okay, I don't know why that line came out just like that. Okay, perfect. Awesome. Perfect, so guys, so let's try just deleting one of this, that way we can post it up. Perfect. Okay, so that looks much better. So we have everything that we need almost, and we're just missing our button. So let's go ahead and of course make our break. Okay, and then this is where we can add our button. Perfect. So now we have our button. We can create our button here. As you can see, it's going to come out down here. And then for our button, we'll call it submit blog. Okay, perfect. And now we can use the same. It's going to be the same thing as here. So what we can do is we can just class. Actually, I'll just do it manually here. That way you can see it. So class name, and then of course we want the border. We want to see the border. Border we want to be black. That way we can see it a little better. And then should give it there. Now what we're going to do is we are just going to add some width to it. And let's see how 300 looks here. Okay. And let's give it a height of, let's say 50 pixels, and let's just take this out. Okay, and that's, oh, that's why. Okay, perfect. I think that's fine. Perfect. So we pretty much have that done, and with my buttons I like to see them hover, so let's just make a hover. And of course the teal color, I really love the teal color, so let's make it teal color. Once you hover over it, oh, not the text, it is BG teal color. That's a little too dark. Let's just make it, I think 800 was the perfect one. Yeah, or 700 might be. Okay, 700. Okay, and then lastly, we want the hover, and then we just want the text to turn and change it to white. That way it doesn't. Perfect. Look at that, guys. Awesome. So this is our create a blog page. So we have our title. We have the header of the page. We have our title where we'll input the title. We have our preview where we'll input the preview as well, and we have our post in which we'll type in our blog. Okay, and then our submit blog button. Perfect. So what we're going to do now is use Axios. Okay, so that will be in the next video, and I'll see you guys there.